Are you guys ready for some extreme fisting? Then I've got the build for you. We're here with the final build guide of my Hollow Palm Invoker. We're going to do a showcase, go over all the tech, go over the passives. Build guide is linked in the description, so do check that out. Let's get into it. Let's talk a bit then about how this all works. We've got our movement speed. This is Tempest Flurry. We don't actually have any real movement speed, but while playing on weapon set 1 with Rigvold's Ferocity, we're getting 20% more attack speed. We're using Rage 3 for 15% more attack speed. These things are multiplicative on top of each other. This makes them awesome when used together. Now, of course, Rage 3 comes with a bit of a problem, and that's that when you're raged cap, you don't get that bonus. How we fix this? By using Elemental Expression, which is from the Invoker tree, just following on from and Sunder My Enemies, so just following on from the Crits Ignore Elemental Resistances. You've got Elemental Expression. We put Rage Forge 2 in that, ensuring that when it goes off, it uses 10 rage. It goes off fairly consistently, so we're never rage capped in maps. We always are sitting at a big, juicy 24 attacks per second. This allows us to absolutely fly around maps, fly around sims. Do you know what one of the best defenses is? Not being where the enemy was shooting. So this movement speed tends to keep us alive, coupled with our very high evasion sitting at 75%, while blinding all enemies using Staggering Palm or, in fact, Elemental Expression. Everyone is blind, no one can see us. We're probably sitting somewhere closer to 87-88% evasion in real terms because of how blind affects enemies' accuracy. One-shot tech, we've still got this online. This is using Falling Thunder backed up by Mantra of Destruction. We do need to use Mantra of Destruction now to ensure that we get that one-shot. We've slimmed the top end damage of this right back with the version of the build, but it's still enough to one-shot Uber bosses without any issue. We're using Hand of Chayula coupled with Aelith's Chimes and Culmination to generate our power charges. We get 50 plus combo. We hit Hand of Chayula. That gives us 5 power charges. Aelith's Chimes, 10% chance per combo point to generate a power charge. This can exceed 100%, 500%, 5 power charges, nice and easy, quick math, blah, 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 blah. So what we do is, in combat, we generate up to about 150 charges on Falling Thunder, hit Hand of Chayula, hit Mantra of Destruction, tap Falling Thunder in the direction of the boss, of course, and it will die. That's been pretty standard to the build now for a few iterations. Next up, we should probably talk a little bit about one of the major changes that's come in, and this is the introduction of Staggering Palm. This skill gives you a buff, which causes all of your attacks to shoot wind projectiles. They fly out of you with Nova projectiles. There's 5 of them in 5 different directions. So it's kind of similar to what Charged Staff did, but with a much greater range. I mean, this thing is going off-screen. I've actually used it to take the place of Herald of Ash, which we were using previously. I've done a good amount of testing with it. I've tested it in Tier 3 sims and 150% Deli maps. And I know there's been some issues with people being able to actually get this thing to stun effectively. That is an issue with this. I've had to run Heft, Heavy Swing, and Close Combat to boost up the damage of the Staggering Palm main attack, even though Close Combat and Heavy Swing don't really affect the projectiles. This ensures that we have a pretty smooth stunning experience. You do have to hold down the button for a little while occasionally. But ultimately, it has meant that we can drop Charged Staff from the build. We can actually, well, you can keep it on if you want, but we can simplify some of the swaps, always have Mantra of Destruction equipped, that sort of thing. Jumping into the skills, let's talk a little bit about the really, really important numbers that we need to hit, particularly around our Falling Thunder and our Tempest Flurry. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about what's going on in the skill menu here. In fact, let's pop on Rage Forged. Let's pop on Living Lightning, because these are the numbers that are important when we're in bossing mode. So, with the current tree, you need 91 point... No, you don't. You need 92.1% critical hit chance to get crit capped using the days nodes that we're using in the passive tree that's linked in the description and that we'll cover off briefly soon. To achieve the one-shot, I have found that you need, with this setup, you need 36,000 damage on the projectile. Your DPS does not matter because you're only firing this once, and this counts as if we're firing this thing 6.9 times. Nice, 6.9 times a second, which we're simply not. We're firing it once. The important number is the average damage. Now, how have we got Falling Thunder set up? We've got it set up with Culmination. We need about 150 charges to one-shot a boss. Pinpoint critical, inevitable critical, Excise. This is important. It does give it an 8-second cooldown, which reduces how useful it is at clearing in sims, but that's okay because Staggering Palm more than makes up for that. So it's alright. It's just for boss one-shots now. Finally, Rage Forge, right? So we do a bunch more damage. Tempest Flurry. Let's have a look at this. So at the moment, we're sitting at 24.39 attacks per second, and this is now getting its attacks per second from multiple places, including our accuracy. We've now taken Falcon Dive using a Megalomaniac. Accuracy turns into attacks per second. What's really important is that when you're trying to balance this, you don't take too much dexterity. And let me quickly show you what I mean by that. So if I go into Refund the Passive Skills, and I go and say, take this node. So dexterity gives us accuracy. Accuracy is attack speed because of Falcon Dive. However, if I take that node, this number does not change, right? Even if I take another node, right? So we'll take another one. We're now up to 5,018. So we've got more attack speed, but this number here has not changed because the attack speed we've got is not actually enough for us to get over another tick. So be careful of that. Watch this number when you're balancing your stats. That's the important number to be looking at. That was definitely intelligence. Get that sorted out. Now our numbers have dropped everywhere, but that's the important number for Tempest Flurry. We're running Mantra Destruction all the time now, with all Treads Focus in it. +3 levels if no other supports are modifying them. You can get the one that's got +3 levels if one other support, and then you can have +4 Mantra Destruction. Wow. Amazing. Still using Hand of Chila for Aelith's Chimes, with Charge Profusion, just for extra charges now. Wind Dancer we've got set up with Culmination, Elemental Armament, Elemental Focus, and Lightning Attunement. If anything does hit us, it generally dies. We've also got Precision 1 in here. We're running both Precision 1 and Precision 2. This is to boost our accuracy. Blasphemy hasn't changed. Temp change, Slow Potency, Magnified Area, Heightened Curse, and Focus Curse. Important number here. What's the slow afflicted? How fast does it apply it? 52% at 0.75 seconds. Very, very good defensive layer, especially when we're going as fast as we are. Herald of Thunder, we've got Maim, Elemental Armament, Close Combat, Electrocute, and Lightning Attunement. Electrocute is working in combination with Neural Overload on Elemental Expression to give us a little bit of survivability. Notice it a bit in Sims, but honestly, most things are dead. Next up, we've got Staggering Palm. So this is the new addition to the build. This is in place of Herald of Ash. We've dropped that. That freed us up to 30 Spirit, which has given us Precision 1 and Precision 2 for Falcon Dive, so that is important to get that 30 Spirit back. In this, we're running Stun 2, Heft, Heavy Swing, Close Combat, and Nova Projectiles. This ensures that we stun effectively, even at really high Delirium, which you'll see in the 150% showcase later. Lastly, we've got Ghost Dance, hasn't really changed. Cannibalism, Caress, Duration, Clarity, and Precision 2. Effectively, both Precision Auras, 80% increased accuracy. Couple that with Falcon Dive, which we're now grabbing from a Megalomaniac. That's giving us another... Well, we've got it set to 19% attack speed, because going to 20% attack speed doesn't hit us to another breakpoint. But that's what got us up from 18.18 to 24.39. That and a slight change in gear, which we're going to look at now. Let's cover off the skill swaps briefly. They are now very, very small. The only skill swaps come between Elemental Expression and Falling Thunder. If you're killing bosses, you want Rage Forged in Falling Thunder. You want something other than Rage Forged in Elemental Expression. I'm using Living Lightning. You can choose something else if you want. I like the blue balls. So we take this out. We put Rage Forged in Elemental Expression. We put Nova Projectiles in Falling Thunder. Now we're set up for maps or sims. That's it. Simple as that. This will keep us... Rage Forge will keep us from being Rage Capped, which keeps our speed up. Nova Projectiles gives us an oh shit button we can use to clear a room. That's it. Taking a look then at our gear and our character sheet, important numbers here. We've got 75% evasion, we've got 75 all res. We've managed to sneak in a bit of chaos res, this hasn't been a problem, and we've achieved balance across all of our stats. This is allowing great use of Jack of all trades. Okay, so it doesn't count all three of them as being the lowest, it only counts one of them. That would have been a nice thing if it counted all three, but, you know, 98% damage increase is certainly better than the 88% we were managing to get from... sorry, was it 88%? Yeah, the 88% that we managed to top out from before using pure power. So the switch over to Jack of all trades has certainly been good. It's also allowed us to balance our tree a lot better. Now, looking at the gear, I'm just going to call out a couple of numbers rather than diving into every piece of the armor. I've got 4,350 evasion and 440 energy shield. These are the important numbers to achieve breakpoints I've hit here. If you want to balance this build a bit different, you can take off evasion for less attack speed, add on energy shield for more crit. Everything works really well. Let's talk about some of the other pieces of the gear, though. There is room here for rarity. You can fit it on the hat. You can fit it on the rings. You can actually fit it on the gloves as well, although it's a risky business. You could definitely drop that crit damage bonus for rarity, allowing up to about 80% rarity on the gear, maybe 100% with really, really good rolls. Looking at our neck, we're using a Stellar Amulet. This is to make the most out of Jack of all trades, and it actually is a really, really good neck for this build. Because we're moving so fast, mana cost is an issue. Taking plus melee skills is just a bad idea. Therefore, Stellar Amulet works quite well. Rings, you want to be looking for Flat Fizz and Flat Lightning on your top lines. The other one could be Rarity. I don't see any need to take Flat Fire or Flat Cold. Doesn't increase our damage that much at all. Might as well just take Lightning and Fizz and then free up the other top line for something else. You're going to need to sort out your resistances, and one of your rings is definitely going to have Leech physical attack damage as mana. Without that, you are going to have huge problems. My cat is yowling in the background, and he is loud. You might have just heard him. For our belt, we're going Darkness and Thrones. If you need to get resistances on this, get Corrupted with the resistances. You want it socketed with the Runes of Sirius, and you want 2 of them. This can give you 32 to 34% attack speed. Don't get suckered into buying one that has more than 113% increased effect of socketed items. It will not affect the attack speed gems. 113% will give you 34% attack speed. Boots, special call out because you don't need movement speed on them, so don't get movement speed on them. Gloves, these are somewhere you can do a lot of investment. At max, they can have 63% attack speed on them. Accuracy is really good because that gives us a lot more attack speed. Fizz damage to attacks is amazing. It helps a lot with Staggering Palm. However, I would advise probably getting flat evasion, accuracy, and percent evasion if you want to max out your attack speed on this build on your bracers. But you got a lot of flexibility here. The crit damage bonus, as I said, that could definitely turn into rarity. On your charms, these are reasonably important. You want a Thawing Charm, because being frozen sucks. You want a Stone Charm, because being stunned sucks. And you want a Staunching Charm, because if Omniphobia does hit you, you will bleed out. So that's kind of important. Those are the 3 charms you should be looking for. Health Flask, just as much life as quick as it can. And on the Mana Flask, I would actually recommend getting one that has increased amount recovered and over 600 mana. This will keep you mana stable while drinking your potion and spinning around at 24 attacks per second. So that's the gear. Let's jump in and talk a little bit about the passives. Let's talk about the jewels. Let's talk about what's really important there. Let's jump into the passive tree and focus particularly on the jewels. The passive tree as a whole, we are going for as much attack speed as we can. We need utility when it comes to mana reservation, mana cost efficiency. We need enough crit chance of Falling Thunder to crit. We want to generate lots of combo points. And we want enough evasion that we can spin through the maps without having to worry about things. But let's focus in on the jewels. Full passive trees in the build guide, of course. You can get that. It's all up to date, and I'll keep it up to date with any changes. The Megalomaniac. This important line is allocates Falcon Dive. For the other part of this, just don't take something that bricks the build, right? If it increases mana cost, it's a bad. If it decreases mana cost efficiency, it's bad. Increased mana cost efficiency is good. Decreased mana cost efficiency is bad. Something that decreases your mana is probably going to suck a bit. But just try to get something that just hopefully synergizes, but certainly that has Falcon Dive to save us a whole bunch of points. Next up, let's talk about Heart of the Well. So 2 really important lines on this, I think, for the build are extra damage as lightning and lightning damage with hits to be lucky. Another must-have, and this is an absolute must-have, recover mana on kill. We're not using a Sapphire for this anymore. You need to get that on your Heart of the Well, preferably with the other synergistic lines. Lastly, and this is the really expensive diamond, the From Nothing. Walker of the Wilds can be allocated. We're using this to allocate dizzying hits. This gets us crit capped. Stupefy is 40% damage for a point. Material Solidification. This actually really, really helps with getting enough fizz damage for Staggering Palm to work, so definitely worth grabbing. Enhanced Reflexes and Heart Stopping. Rest of the tree, heavy focus, as I've said, on attack speed. So we've got all of the attack speed nodes up to Lightning Quick. Grabbing Flow State, we've got the attack speed nodes around to 10-fold attacks. And I think that might be it for attack speed. Oh, no, of course, we've got Chakra of Thought as well, the new nodes up here. It's giving 19% attack speed as well. And, of course, Deep Trance for more cost efficiency and attack speed. And we've got an anointment down to Falcon Dive for more attack speed per accuracy, which we are making some use of from the accuracy on our ring. That's the passive tree. Hollow Palm build, of course. Can't miss this bit off. We've been that way for a long time. Let's showcase this thing. I've got a 150% Deli map to go, and I've got the last part of a tier 3 Sims as well. We've seen the boss killing earlier as we were talking about the build. Oh, we'll do this one live. I've got no idea how it's going to go. No voiceovers here. Oh, 150% Deli map. I have never tried an 150% Deli map. I think this is made with 3 isolations. I don't know. We're going to try one. I'm just going to pick what looks like a decent-ish map. We'll go to spring. It's, yeah, it's got +1 level on it as well, so it's level 81. I have no idea if parts of the build might just not work. We'll find out. I have left myself in bossing setup as well. Which means we should be able to do that. Good. This is good. Looks like we're having an okay time keeping up our wind buff as well. This is also good. Lots of exploding corpses that I can't really see through all the exploding wind, but that's fine. Speed shrine, perfect, just what we needed. Let's be faster. Don't get caught by those, they will kill you. Still exploding. Right, faster. Let's go faster. That's what we needed to do right now. Faster. More speed. Perfect. Where is Omniphobia? He's around somewhere. There he is. There he goes. We've not yet found the... Oh, here it is. For this thing. Just keep up our wind buff. Enemies coming out the holes. Again, not using charge staff here. You can if you want. It's just purely to show that that's an optional switch. You definitely don't need it. So you can just run no switches. Run no charge staff. You will be fine. Again, this is a 150% Delirious map. We've had the wind buff up consistently with this setup. It might not ricochet, it might not hit as many enemies, but you can keep it up in all difficulties of content. That was something people were struggling with some other builds that were using this tech, I believe. This should fix it, so copy this setup. Oh, this is kind of intense, man. I've got so fucking fast. There's a rare, we left a rare. Oh, we ran out of mana. We're going so fast I can't sustain the mana. It's not balanced around using a speed try. So just get right on in the group there. Matters not to us. There you go, map complete. 2.5 minutes. Pretty fast build. Maybe the fastest. In fact, I'm going to go on a limb and say it's the fastest. I think Snoobay's whirly-gig Amazon might be able to keep up. Because one of my mates is playing that, and we've had a bit of a race. And we seem about on par, but I think this could be the fastest. Anyway. Let's do some boss stuff. Right, we're on wave 10 of a tier 3 sim. Tier 4 sim. Highest tier sim. I'm going to show you how this feels without charge staff. And how it is to get the wind buff up. So it is now up. And you can see it does pretty good damage. Oh, it's up to 30 seconds now. So what I find, you have to get up like some stacks of it, then hit some stuff with it. And then you can seemingly stun everything really easily. I think because the projectiles like prime it for more stunning. So you just have to kind of like hold it down on a target. We can run into some rares that feel a bit nasty, I must say, without charge staff and without having that full frontal damage. But we'll make do. We've still got the slam when the bosses appear. That's the main thing. So now we should be able to, there you go, so back up to 30 seconds because we hadn't left the buff drop off from the floor before, so we're able to quite easily reapply it on this floor. Bosses could spawn soon, but we've got so many charges that it shouldn't matter. It didn't. So I'm going to try and keep our buff up at 30 seconds, because this floor's going to end soon. Definitely let God take the wheel. I have little to no control over the character. Ah, that's a bit of a lie. I've got some control over it. And I'm trying to see kind of how fast I can actually finish the sim. And so I'm only picking up some of the loot. Oh, Not really looking at the tier 5s, trying not to think about them. Just want to see how fast we can finish it. Fastest so far is 10 minutes and 5 seconds. So that would have been a time when we would have blasted our way out previously, but with us on the 8-second cooldown, I felt probably best wait till these guys appear. Get them off the field instead. Time to wind up. Alright, we've winded up. We've got 30 seconds of wind. Grab the chance shard. Oh, a whole orb of chance. Fuck the chance shard. I don't think we're finishing it in 10:50. We might. We might. Oh, we need to wind up. Right, we're winded up 30 seconds. See, they're all kind of primed from the projectiles already. We can get that buff up really quick. As long as once you've got it up once, it's about maintaining it. And then it's very good. But if you let it fall off, like, it can be a bit of a problem. They go back up to 30 seconds, nice and easy. Do the slam, get rid of the bosses. Nice and easy. Keep that mouse close to the character, you get a little bit more control of it. Peripherals become secondary. You become very predatory. Predator instinct, just laser focused. No peripheral vision, just the prey. As we hunt down all of the delirium fog monsters. Right, we need to wind up. We've winded up. We need to wind up a bit more. Right, 30 seconds of wind. Now we just enjoy it. Now we just embrace the wind. Become the last airbender. Lump some sort. Oh. No jokes like that. Only destruction. So we can't exile. There you go. Get the other big shot out. Every 8 seconds we can do that because of how we've got it set up to make sure we get 100% crit, which we do need for the bosses. And I don't want to be messing around with too many skill swaps. Oh, we're not going to finish this in under 11 minutes. No, no. It failed. I will let the wind buff go down. Oh god, okay, it's back up, it's back up. Everything is mulch. We don't need to use it. We can use Mantra of Destruction there as well for complete overkill if we feel it's necessary. But it's largely unnecessary. And there we go. 11 minutes, pretty much on the dot. They're pretty fast as Sims as well. Pretty good. And I think that'll probably do for showcases. This is the build. I'm going to keep the build guide updated, so do follow the build guide. If I find any new tech, if I work things out, or if I work out that we can simplify a few things, I will make those updates there. This will be the final build guide video for the Hollow Palm Invoker. We will be aiming to get this up to 30.3 attack speed. We will be doing farms with it, so do make sure you subscribe and maybe even like the video because it really helps with the algorithm. And I'll catch you in the next one. Have a good one.